And we back with another HBCU Overdrive. I'm your boy Doc Holiday, where HBCU matters. If you haven't done by now, please remember to like the comment in the like the stream, like the show, comment on what you want to see, share with your friends, and most of all, subscribe. Today, I have a good friend of mine, DJ Raw from Raw Truth Media. What's going on, man?
Already, man. Doc, man, thank you for having me on the show. As a fellow Texas native, man, I'm glad to be talking HBCUs with you, brother, man. And I know for a fact that this is going to be an exciting conversation. This is going to be an informative conversation because it's about realness and solutions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I'm gonna go ahead and put my little ticker down here, man, so everybody know what to do. Um, so I usually do, on my show, I usually do announcements. So basically, with me, as far as for my announcement goes, the first three games I'll be covering Texas Southern football. Also, we'll cover them for the November 5th game for Jackson State. I also will cover for Tennessee State when they play Texas A&M Commerce November 19th. And also, we'll be going to the Grambling Prairie View game. That's the State Fair Classic. That is the first Saturday of October. And other things I got going on. That's pretty much what I have going on right now. But anything you got going on as far as any kind of nice
Yeah,
announcements that you got going?
yeah. I will be going to the Grambling State versus Jackson State game at Jackson State, Mississippi on the 17th of September. So
Oh yeah,
be on the lookout for that. I had to go to a game, man. I want to go to more, but for those who don't know, I've been living in Washington State for 4 years, even though I'm a Houston native from the southwest side of Houston, born and raised there. Uh, Thinking about moving back to Texas. Who knows? But wait and see.
man. You, I'm gonna tell you, you ain't too much missing anything in Texas, but
I
hey,
figured.
hey, only thing that's going on is the heat. That's about it right now.
Man, it's like 110 degrees. Feel like 120 degrees out there. I'm hearing.
Man, I promise you, we had probably about at least 3 weeks of 105 degrees here in Dallas,
Oh
basically.
man, that's that's North Texas. Hey, ain't even in the south part of Texas, so you know
Nah,
that's hot.
nah, nah, nah. We ain't had no humidity. We had some wind coming in, but no humidity. Just straight dry heat. That's it. That's all we got going on today,
Damn.
man. But yeah, so today, man, we gonna talk about the issues that's going on at HBCUs and what can we do in order to maintain our prestige, but move in a progressive mindset.
Yes, number one, we got to be forward thinkers. All of us who support HBCUs. We right now the momentum is so uh, paramount that you can't waste this momentum. Social media of all schools need to be up, not just football, basketball, all
Right.
sports. The colleges itself has to increase making sure the school as well as housing is upgraded. Because you know what these kids are. They want to go to something that's nice, clean, something that feels different from the home they're currently from.
Right.
That's what they can experience. So they don't have to go to a PWI. I tell you right now, if you have upgrades in housing, if you have upgrades at the whole campus facility, a kid from the inner city may think, man, I don't even have to go to a PWI. It's right here. And I don't have to have a ACT score or SC or another test score. I don't have to score so high. Now you would like to have good scores, but I'm saying you don't have the pressure of having that high score just to make the university. You have it right there.
Right. It's to me like it's different from when back in the day, back in the mid to late 90s when I was at school, where we harped on basically we basically harped on your test scores, like as far as your ACT and your SAT scores. We harped on making sure that you are college ready. You know, that was the main thing for us to know. Make sure that we were college ready. If you really think about it, uh, back, you know, during the mid to late '80s and the early '90s, everybody, you know how everybody here in Texas, we were so focused on taking the STAR test, the tax test, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, TOS test, uh, that it took away from teachers teaching us how, you know, the basics: English, reading, writing, math, science, history. We, you know, we had teachers back then that taught us everything. And then when it came down for them standardized tests to come, we knew what we knew what we had to do with the testing. But nowadays, it's the fact that you got to focus on the standardized test, and then you put everything on the back burner. So that's something that we need to kind of get back into, um, with our education wise, is to make sure that we give these kids, make sure that they know and learn all the core things that they have to learn, and then do the standardized tests, and then do your ACT and your SAT and stuff like that. So what do you think as far as how education is, as far as what it goes with the education wise go?
Education wise, I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's address the elephant in the room. We got to have the graduation rate for HBCUs. We can't say we love HBCUs and we're not graduating. Now, some schools are doing a good job. Some need to catch up. The numbers
Right.
speak for themselves. Um, we also have to have a more interest in STEM. People take advantage of that,
Hmm.
so these young brothers and sisters can have an opportunity after college. See, if you go into STEM, it doesn't matter if you go to PV or Penn State. If you have that on
Right.
your resume and your info, uh, uh, the better chance of you having a better career. There's so many people going to colleges. You know, some people they want to go to they want to major in something that's fun.
Right.
I remember a chick a decade ago, 2011. I was asking, "What'd you major in?" She said, "Oh, aquatic science." I was like, I want to be mean, brother, but I was like, I don't know what. I know you like. I know you like the marina area and wildlife and stuff. But how in the hell are you going to get a job automatically?
Right. With aquatic
So many
science.
people. Right. You graduate college. You know, some people graduate college and they got to do side jobs to pay off their student loans, and they can't even do the career that they have majored in.
Right.
So it's all about teaching what major you need to do, and sometimes it's something that you could potentially do, but you may not be what's the word fond of. Like it's nothing popular to you. But sometimes the things that
Right.
are not popular are something you can do for better life.
So yesterday, shout out to Outscript. Shout out to Outscript to Kofi. So they had their show yesterday, and a well-known caller called in named Perry White. He's a former Southern Jaguar. He has the Jaguar, I think it's the Jaguar Journal. And he made some interesting points. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to play that. I kind of screen recorded on my phone, so I'm gonna add it into the little stream right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and play that and let people hear it. think oh, hold on. Hold on, let me add it back in here for it. Man,
Yeah, that
still
technology,
learning.
brother.
Yeah, man, I'm still learning how to do all this stuff right here. You know what?
What you can do is go to shared screen and
Mm-hmm.
you click on a tab. Like if you find the video, you click on the tab and you could go to the area, a part of the video uh, that you saw.
Okay.
So you see on the bottom where it says share screen next to settings
Yeah.
for shared screen.
You know
Uh,
what? I'm not even gonna worry about that. But I know what on certain things that he said. Um, he he basically put out there that schools need to be more accountable for what they do. That we have to have progressive, we have to have like-minded people in administration and in athletics to make sure that to get us on another level, to get us to the next level. So with certain things going on, like I say with the water crisis in Jackson. So the water crisis in Jackson is that it it's been going on. The water crisis been going on since uh the freeze last year, and with when they had the big freeze that froze the pipes, they didn't have adequate drinking water, and from what I'm hearing now, that it gotten so bad that the water is brown when it comes out of the faucets and stuff like that. So now when you got these kids moving into the dorms, especially at Jackson State, they can't move in because they don't have adequate water to supply for the school. Also, another thing that comes to mind is basically the Howard University when they had they sit in when they was protesting about living conditions in the dorms. You have all this money and the dorms have mold, they have mildew, have rats, it's had roaches. You know, no kid should live, you know what I'm saying? No student should go to a school and be in a dorm room and live like that and not let it go by the wayside. So my whole thing is when it comes to the administration, like I'm holding feet to the fire with the administration because I'm not about to send my kids to a school when y'all not doing what y'all supposed to do. You're not holding up the end of you're not holding up the end of your the bargain on your end. So why am I going to send my kids or even have a kid recruited to your school and you can't even give them the necessary, items and things like as a clean dorm room or adequate food or even adequate water. You know, my whole thing about it is just holding all these administrations feet to the fire. And basically, if that means that we got non-progressive administration inside the school, that means it's time for them to go. To me, that's how I see
yeah,
it.
let me add on to that. The ADs, depending on the school, let's be honest, there needs to be new ADs in some HBCUs. Um, the ADs have to work with the athletic ADs to have
Mhm.
cohesion because let's keep it a buck. Sports, especially football, is the moneymaker. Look at
Right.
Alabama. And I'm not saying HBCUs or Alabama or any other SEC school or Big 12, you name it. Their schools are fed. The money is generated from football.
Right.
So what do? They make sure that football is taken care of first so it could bring back the equity to the school.
Right.
It goes hand in hand. And there has to be more communication to be an AD. I've never been an AD, so I'm the last person to to give a lot of opinions about it. But if I was blessed to have a position, the first thing I would do is you got to be relatable to people. What do they need? If you were in a situation as that person or student, what would you
Right.
ask for? What would you want?
Mhm.
Enrollment's increasing, but if the ducks are not in a row, how can we have these schools grow if we don't have more housing, better water, more supplies, things that you're supposed to have? So again, it sounds easy, but it takes more doing. You have to communicate more. When you at a higher position, you may act like I don't have to do as much because I'm
Right.
comfortable. Comfortability leads to complacency. Let me repeat that. Comfortability leads to complacency.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think to yourself, where you want to go? Do you want to stay in mediocrity and purgatory, not doing anything, doing the same thing you've been doing for years? Or you want to move up into the future of what HBCU should be?
I see my guy, Mr. Campbell, he's in the chat right now. He's asking us how we doing, man.
Peace
And
and blessings, my brother.
Mr. Campbell, if y'all don't know, he's on off script when he goes on the show. When he calls in, he could be many things. He's mostly the bishop. So when he's on that show, he drops a lot of gems that people listen to. We attach ourselves to. We attach to it, and you know that's somebody that I would, I talk to when it comes down to like what can we do as far as saving our universities and our institutions and making sure that we have, just make sure that we're holding everybody's feet to the fire. And I know as far as what you're saying, as far with football is the moneymaker, and it funds
Yes.
not just only the athletic program, but most of the time it funds the whole university. If you really think about it, let's go back to, let's say, PWI, University of Miami, right? Back in the 80s, when they won all those national championships, they had their influx of students to enroll into their school. When you seen all that, when they did all that, you seen a lot of stuff pop up at the university. A lot of different buildings and stuff like that. And I feel like that came because of football. When you're winning, when you're winning, it pays a lot. So, and just like now, you could go say, like you say, Alabama or Clemson or even, LSU, Ohio State. Winning football, winning championships, having a winning culture brings in more students. It also brings in more dollars to where you have all these new buildings. You have these athletic complexes that's 10,000, 12,000 square feet. You have the media room. You have the nutrition that these kids will get. Now, don't get me wrong, we can win all that. We could kind of do all of that, but it, it's going to be hard to do because we don't have that type of budget.
No, we don't. I made a video, my brother, about Jackson State only playing 4 home games. Now, what I'm about to say, a lot of people are not going to disagree, but if you disagree, you're open to state your case. The blue bloods and the HBCUs. who are generating income and having a large amount of fanfare should never, no matter if they won or lost, have only just 4 home games. It's best on the SWAC. It's best for the city they're in. I mean, when you're the only city that, like the everything else, the businesses around it,
right,
they're open. They're generating tons of dollars. Restaurants, shopping centers, you name it. Jackson
right.
State is having a game. That is like their pro team.
It's the
And when
only
they
team,
only
pretty
play
much.
4 games, yeah, they only play 4 games. That's not enough. Now, at the same time, and I've talked to a lot of Jackson State alum, Jackson State still has to support all the home games, no matter if it's Grambling or Southern. Because if you play Mississippi Valley State, there should never be just 35,000.
Right.
Consistency.
Hey,
if you bring 60, if you bring 60 to Southern, bring 60 to Mississippi Valley State. Bring 60 if you play against Texas Southern or any other school.
Right.
Consistency.
I think it's that mindset that most everybody have. Is not to where we have it to where it's basically like I'm going to the game because I want to support the team and I love football and stuff like that. I'm going to the game because my homegirl there, my partner, he there, you know. My girlfriend said she want to go because she gonna hang out with the K's, or my partner said he gonna hang out with the Q's and the Sigmas and stuff like that. So nobody doesn't look at it like that because, you know, I'm gonna be real with you. Just coming from me, and both of us, since we both from Texas, you know how we get down in Texas as far as when it comes to football. Like, it's religion. Like we love it, and it's like even with the inner city schools, we love it to the point where we'll talk shit to the other school, but we know they mama because they mama and they daddy went to that school, but we're gonna keep it cordial, but we still gonna talk shit to them. and after the game, you know, after all the cheering and booing and all this stuff like that, we still gonna be cool. And then we treat football as a business. You know, football is a business to us Texas, because it's like from December to December, ain't nothing but football. It is, you know, it could be playing it could be the recruiting, it could be the practicing and stuff like that. But football is a business. And I don't think a lot of people, especially in the HBCU world, has treated football as a business. They treat it more as the social party, the social, you know what I'm saying, to go be with everybody else, but they don't treat it as more like, man, when we get here, we about to smash these boys, you know, take on, you know, do what we got to do, go home, celebrate and stuff like that. But they don't look at it like that. And I think I seen that video where you said having 4 home games, which I think that's crazy as far as for Jack State having 4 home games, because it doesn't, you know, having 4 home games, it would bring money to the city, but it won't have that same impact that it had last season.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, bringing a $30 million impact to the city of Jackson, that's a lot of money for that city right there. Alone.
And Doc, man, can you imagine if LSU, Alabama, you know, the historic SEC teams only had 4 home games? The fans at their respective schools will lose their damn minds.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see it. They'll lose their minds when it comes down to it. And Mr. Campbell is right. They should have never moved that Alabama A&M game down to Mobile. because that would have been
Yeah,
Jackson. That would have been Jackson's fifth home game right there. Because that would have been the home. That would have been a home and home since we went to their place, beat the brakes off of them for their homecoming. They should have came back to. They should have came to Jackson, and we would have played in Jackson. You could have got somebody else for the Gulf Coast Classic. Um, Somebody else could have did that with Alabama A&M. It couldn't. Why? You know, put us out of having one more game, making probably like another $5-6 billion for the city, and I don't get it. Whoever
Doc, you
negotiated,
know what I'm tired of? You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of, and I see the whole playbook, man. Man, this is HBCU OverDrive, so I can keep it 1,000% real, my brother.
Oh
Right?
yeah, keep
you
it
don't
down.
mind, man. I'm tired of them or whatever. I'm tired of people using Jackson State as a cash cow to not allow them to have the best of what they got. So they got to
Right.
do all these neutral site games, and I'm not saying neutral site games, but since they won a SWAC, they need that proper respect of having more than 4 home games. Now,
And
some other teams, because somebody was trying to tell me in the comment section, well, everybody has 4 games. You can't treat everybody the same. When you're winning, you get rewarded. Again, let me go back to Alabama. Again, I'm not saying that Alabama, but any conference, Ohio State, when you're winning, why would you want to give a team that has won 4 home games so they can't benefit from their school and their city? That would never make sense with me.
Oh, so let's put this in perspective. If University of Texas had 4 home games, they would ride at Austin.
Oh yeah, they will.
they will riot at Austin because they look at that, man. Look, UT is like a protein to them, so they will ride if they don't have probably like 6 home games, at least 6. You know what I'm saying? Five is pushing it towards like, yeah, we about to go to the AD and say what's up. But having 4, nah, you really you killing us financially right now.
Well, hey, brother, what is doing the same as everybody else gotten us? Don't worry, I'll wait. What is doing the same? What is doing the same? Again, they keep. It's got to be fairness and doing the same. So Jackson State, Grambling, and FAMU. I know Grambling didn't win last year, but they were rising, just like Southern's rising.
Right.
So they got to be treated like everybody else. Come on, man.
Now, I don't think nobody should be treated like everybody else. I don't think nobody should be treated like everybody else. Just because it's kind of like with Coach Prime with the Go Visit Valley. Should they be treated like the little stepchildren of the SWAC? No, they shouldn't be treated like that. Should they have pretty much the same amount of amenities that a Jackson State or Southern or Prairie View, you know what I'm saying, should have? Yeah, they need to have that. Why do Valley have to go a mile away from their campus to go practice? They should have a practice field right next to the football stadium. They should have the same amenities that the other schools, the other blue bloods of the SWAC should have. It shouldn't, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that, but it is. And now it's time for everybody to correct it because like you said, you see the writing on the wall. It's a whole different ball game now. Let me get up in this. Let me see what we got in the chat room right now. Let's see. DeAndre said, "Do you think you would have sold out Alabama A&M?" Yes, I feel we would have sold out Alabama A&M game in Jackson just because of the simple fact that they're trying to get revenge for what we did to them last season and giving them that pink scooter.
Oh yeah,
I,
it's beef, brother. It's beef out
I,
there,
I
man.
think we would have did good if that was the case. We could have put y'all as our homecoming game if we could have moved Campbell early in the season. But I like the maneuver that Ashley has done with putting Campbell as the homecoming game because people are always saying that we don't play anybody out of conference.
And shout out to Ashley Robinson. Uh, him taking chances, him doing things not conventional, hiring Coach Prime, first time head coach. He took the chance to do that. And now Jackson State in the city of Jackson is being rewarded. He's trying to make sure Coach Prime has everything he wants. And that's why I tell Jackson State fans the good thing, the advantage of Coach Prime coaching at Jackson State at an HBCU is that Coach Prime can be Prime.
Right.
PWIs and especially other established universities, they won't let brothers be themselves. Look at Kevin Sumlin at Texas A&M.
Ooh, don't get on that right there. They sure didn't
I
want that
mean,
man to be.
I mean, Jimbo Fisher has had similar records. It actually starting out, Kevin Sumlin won more games than Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher had that 1 year in the pandemic year when they lost one
Yep.
game against Alabama.
Awesome.
That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But what have they been, brother? 8-4, 7-5, 8-4 under Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, at least with Kevin Sumlin, he was 11-2, 9-3, um, like 10-2, something like that. He had good records when he was at A&M, but I feel like when he was at A&M that nobody he couldn't be himself.
no,
He
he could
couldn't be
not.
what he was when he couldn't be what he was when he coached at University of Houston.
No.
When he was at U of H, like he was all for, what I'm saying, being himself. But I feel like he had toned it down when he became the head coach at Texas A&M. And I feel like when it comes to most of these coaches that we have in the SWAC and around and at other HBCU schools, it's just that most of them, like, to me, Coach Prime, you're not corralling him. You're not corralling Coach Prime. I'm sorry to say that. You're not corralling him. You knew what you got when you went to go hire, what I'm saying, when you went to go hire him, when you interviewed him. You knew you was gonna get the bold and the brash. You knew you gonna get a straight no chaser type dude. And he tell every what I'm saying, he broadcast that all the time. Like he don't, what I'm saying, he don't sugarcoat anything. So, and I'm looking at Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson not sugarcoating nothing. He's not doing that. Eddie
Oh
George
no.
show ain't sugarcoating anything. He's Eddie George not sugarcoating nothing. To me, I'm like,
But
he gonna tell
let's
you
make
like
one
it
thing
is.
clear. Let's make one thing clear, brother. Even though they have a great thing going, being a head coach at HBCUs still have to find a way to generate money so they can keep their assistants to give them bonuses.
Yep.
Like Coach Prime said, I think Uncle Luke, what it
Yesterday.
was it? Yeah, the little with him and Coach Willie Simmons, and shout out to those brothers who you hear the camaraderie. They're all trying to beat each other at the Orange Blossom Classic, but they coming together as one, and that's a beautiful thing to see. But you got to do that. You got to pay your assistants. You got to pay your head coaches. No head coach in the HBCU should be paid what $90 million. That's too low. They need to be paid more than that. All the
Yep.
responsibility they have, it's got to be higher than that. So we got to keep our coaches. We got to keep the assistants because the assistants are so important.
Right. And most of the assistants that Coach Prime had came with him when he was the OC at Trinity Christian.
Yeah.
Remember, Andre Hart was the actual head coach of the team. You know what I'm saying? So he had he knew when he got the job at Jackson State that he was going to bless his guys that have been down with him from day one, and to getting them the job, because I don't think he wanted to leave them behind. And to me, it's more like it's kind of like Eddie George. Eddie George didn't have a lick of coaching experience. Most of his stuff was in the financial the financial realm, but who he surrounded himself with. Okay, of course, he surrounded himself with his old head football coach from the Tennessee Titans, Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher ain't got to go do no coaching, but he gonna do the advising. You know what I'm saying? So he had people around him that to insulate him to make sure that he is successful when it comes to having a successful product on the field. And the same thing with Hugh Jackson.
And speaking of Tennessee State, be on the lookout for Draylon Ellis. Tennessee State finally has a quarterback who can run, throw, that can do it all. And
okay, he's the transfer from Austin Peay, right?
Yes, real deal.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, let's speak on Tennessee State. So we this is all HBCU talk, everybody. So we going from the issues to making sure like we keep our coaches, because these coaches are gems, to now the players that's on the field, that's coming out that you need to watch, that you need to know, that you need to have a look out for. So yeah, to me with Tennessee State, with him running the offense, and I still think that Devon Starling is a running back, quick guy, you know what I'm saying, able to bounce outside, make sure, and Eddie is basically, I'm telling everybody, he's basically building his team the way, if I'm looking at it, he's building his team the way that he was when he was at Tennessee and Ohio State. He's building the team.
Oh,
He's building the team from the inside out. So he getting the offensive lineman, he getting the defensive lineman, he's getting, he skilled positions is automatically, you can get that anytime. You can build up the skill position, but it's in between the trenches that you have to make sure that everything is flowing, especially on the offensive line. The offensive line is more like five guys being a ballerina that tie the leg, shackle at the legs, and you have to move one way or the other, or you have to spread out, or you clamp in. And if one person is off, then the whole line is going to be off. So to me, like that's what I'm looking at. I'm telling everybody he's building that team the way that he saw it fit when he was at Tennessee and when he was at Ohio State. And shout out, man! Come on now, let's shout out to Tennessee State to being progressive as far as plan wise.
Yeah,
as far as even having the talks with North Dakota State to come do a home and home. And to do that and to show like, hey, we can play with we can play with y'all too. Y'all the big dogs of FCS. We can play with y'all too, but it's not gonna be no pushover. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be no cakewalk. Because he's setting his team up for to play schools like that. What do you think about that, man?
Yeah, kudos to them. North Dakota State, they're really a FBS team masquerading as an FCS team. I ain't hating, but I'm just being honest. They pretty much are. They're the state school. They get funded by the state.
Right.
There are a lot of North Dakota State fans that don't even want to go to the FBS because they're treated like kings in the FCS. You don't want to go to the Mid-American like the MAC conference or the Mountain West, where if let's be honest, if North Dakota State was in the Mountain West, they will be a bowl team.
They would.
Yeah, they'll be a bowl team.
They
They
would.
won't be a national championship team because you got to have some talent in the FBS.
Right.
But they'll be a bowl team. But yeah, kudos to Tennessee State. What they're trying to do, they remind me, you know who they remind me of? The Giants back then.
Yeah.
Post out offense, running back, double tight end sets, 12 personnel. That's who they remind me. And Devin Starlin is going to get 1,000+ yards. I truly believe that.
I believe. I think he probably get about 1,200 yards this season. Because the only thing to me, the only team that Tennessee State even has to worry about in their conference is UT Martin.
Yeah.
Other than that, they can run through the OVC. Is just that UT Martin game that is going to be some issues right there. But their schedule is I've seen their schedule, and it's not for the weak. If you know what I mean. It's not for the weak. Especially next year, their schedule is not going to be for the weak because they go to Notre Dame. They play Notre Dame next year. So I'm looking at them. They're like I said, he's building that team to mirror what he did and when he was in the pros. Another team we kind of nobody hasn't said anything about, like you said earlier, is Alabama State, and since you from Houston and you know about North Shore, football, you know how they get down on the east side. How Demetrius Davis was when he was in high school. Alabama State is getting a gem. They're getting a natural gem in a quarterback. That he's a natural leader. I'm sorry that it didn't work out well for him when he was at Auburn, but him being at Bama State and him being the actual starting quarterback and getting that chance to shine, he's going to show people what they missed out on.
Well, we all know the Auburn situation was all politics, and you could go on the message boards and Auburn fans will tell you that they wish it was better for him. They wanted to see him play. The Auburn quarterback situation, there's not the guy there. Right. So Demetrius Davis being a high 4-star recruit, very high. I mean, I think it was like an 84 overall grade, which was extremely high in most recruiting metrics. For him to not get a reasonable shot at Auburn is a big loss. And I'm not saying Auburn's going to have a bad team. They're really an enigma right now because so many teams in the SEC have gotten better. But if they don't have a great season, they'll look back and they see Demetrius Davis carving up teams and saying, man, why did we not get an opportunity? Because Demetrius Davis, I remember watching, because I'm living in the West Coast right now, the state championship game on my computer. And this is the last state championship game he played in.
Against Duncanville.
Yeah, Duncanville. And the leadership, the athleticism, the good arm, he could do it all. The offensive coordinator has to let him be him. Let him win the game because they got to beat Howard.
Yeah.
Howard's a MEAC school. They've been bragging about beating SWAC schools.
Yes, sir.
Because if you don't beat Howard, how are you going to beat the other juggernauts in the SWAC?
Right.
Because Howard, no disrespect to them, they're not South Carolina State. They're
No,
not Norfolk. They're not North Carolina Central. So you're supposed to beat this team.
but yeah, that and that's been the kryptonite for the SWAC. Is basically we haven't won the SWAC MEAC challenge in what couple about 3 years, and you know they always say whoever wins that at the beginning, whoever is the representative school for the Celebration Bowl, they end up winning the Celebration Bowl. And we the SWAC has to they have to get out their schneid as far as basically the Celebration Bowl, because like last season, let's all say it. Last season, Jackson State going to the Celebration Bowl, they was glad that they was there, but I don't think their whole mind was focused on it. Their
Man, I'm
mind
glad,
was
bro. I'm glad you said that because when I think they were so much in having fun in Atlanta, and you know how it is. We are human beings,
yeah,
and maybe the Celebration Bowl didn't mean as much to others. Now after that loss, it was a wake up call that you got to take this seriously.
yeah.
I mentioned this before. Jackson State losing to South Carolina State in a Celebration Bowl was the best thing that happened to their program. New coaching staff, new
Mm-hmm.
strength and conditioning coach. The
Yep.
players are bigger, faster. This team right now, and I've talked to people that's in that Jackson area that watch the scrimmages and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They said this team this year, 2022, would destroy Jackson State 2021. It wouldn't even
Woo.
be close. I'm putting it there right there.
So there's so without a James Houston on one side, without an Antoine Oars on the other side.
They're better than last year. I put that on everything. They're better than last year.
Oh
And
man.
here's the
I
crazy
mean,
part. FAMU is better than last year.
who was that? What'd you say?
FAMU is better than last year's FAMU team,
Yes,
right?
yes, they are. Yes, they are. Now don't
Graham
now
better than
Coach
last year.
Simmons, yeah, he was out there on that recruiting trail, man. He had to get them dogs out there.
Oh yeah.
Now, like I said, I put in my prediction show. I did a prediction show for Jackson State Breakdown football. I said the OBC. Don't look for it to be a 7-6 football game like it
Oh
was
no.
last season. Don't look for it to be that. Look for it to be like 35, 42 points being scored in the game. Whoever has the ball last is going to be the one that wins the game. That is my take on it. I'm gonna put it out there just like that. Don't expect for it to be 7-6. You know, don't expect for it to be like that. Expect for it to be high powered, you know what I'm saying, offense going out there, defense, make sure they get key stops. But as far as with FAMU, with them, especially with the quarterback position, I'm looking at it to where, like, okay, if you want to make sure you stay in the game, you're gonna go with Rashawn McKay. He's the game manager. He's the game manager of the year. But to me, if you want to, if you need to get yards, you need to get the points. I'm going with Jeremy Musa. I'm going with Jerry Musa. Man, Tito, we ain't worried about you talking about Jackson State going losing a Bethune Cookman. Come on now.
Hey, Bethune Cookman. Let's give him props. Bethune Cookman was the best 2-win team. They played so many close games. They just couldn't
Yes,
pull it out.
yes. The people don't understand that they played the game that I watched. I knew that this team, well, the way how they're gonna be constructed when they play UTEP, and they was down by, I think they was down by either 3 or 7, and I guess UTEP went on a drive and basically, put the game away. So, but they was close against UTEP. They was close against what was it? Was it UCF or USF, South Florida or Central Florida? Everybody,
Yeah.
uh, kind of put it up
UCF.
in there.
It was UCF.
It was UCF, so they
Yeah.
was they were close on that game. Um, remember they played when they played Jackson State. The defense, their defense came out balling. They came out swarming the ball, and they made some. As far as on the offense, the quarterback made some key plays, especially to Kamari Everett. Who, by God, that is a man's man of a football player. You know, um,
Now,
but
Doc, I'm counting the games that they should have won.
right,
The Valley game, 20-14, costly turnovers. The Prairie A&M game,
yeah,
costly special teams play to have them losing 35-29. They could have beaten South Carolina State. They lost 42-35. They could have beaten Alabama A&M 30-27.
30-27.
They should have beating Alabama State, but that fourth quarter was
It was
horrible.
brutal. Yeah, it was brutal.
Man, that fourth quarter, man, they just collapsed.
So instead of them being 2-9, they could have been like a 7-14.
Yeah, they could have.
They could have been a 7-4, 6-5. Just by, especially with the South Carolina State game, with them that been old MEAC foes, you know, they always play them. They always play them hard. So
And about Bethune-Cookman, it's not about the athletes. They got one of the best athletes in the conference. Like the players, they're from Florida, just like FAMU. The difference is they don't know how to finish games.
Yep, that is true. Another team that could have been that's like that's kind of like Bethune-Cookman was Texas Southern. And I'm big on Texas Southern. I feel like if Andrew Body would have played, if he would have started from the beginning of the season,
he would put up big numbers.
He would have put up big numbers, and then he would have kept the team in the game in most of the games that they played. I don't, Jalen Brown. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but from what I'm hearing, what I saw, he did not fit that system. He didn't fit the system for that he can be mobile with his legs, because believe me, he got an arm. He has, Jalen Brown has an arm, but for that, for you to be successful in that system, you have to be mobile. You're basically playing option football. So, instead of having him starting the first game of the season, I think it should have been Andrew Body. But we also got to remember too, Texas Southern played almost 58 freshmen and sophomores last season.
Yeah, that's impressive, bro. That's really impressive.
And I did an interview with one of the players, Jack Nance. Shout out to him. He said that he could see the progression going, in each game with all the underclassmen that they had. But it was just the fact that in certain aspects of the game, they didn't know how to put together winning time, if you know what I mean, like a winning drive, winning time. When it's time to go out there, you got to bust their ass, and leave it all on the field and stuff like that. They didn't have that type of dog in them like that. But I know now, with them being sophomores and juniors now, they should have that. And then with them having a good recruiting class that came in for this year, they should be able to put together a team in the West. Because remember, Texas Southern's in the West, so I'm looking at them probably being 65-74 and contend for the West title.
Man, it's gonna be it could go either way.
It could go either way.
If the defense, here's a luxury at Texas Southern. All the defense has to be is respectable. Get a couple turnovers here and there. They could, if they can have a middle of the road defense and not a last place or close to last place defense, if it's just middle of the road, oh man, that's just all they need.
Yeah,
that's all they need.
So they need to be a middle of the road team as far as the defensive wise go, because the offense is going to put up the points. The offense is going to put up like at least 35, 40 points a game, especially with that guy everybody running, taking the snaps and everything.
And people watch the Celebration Bowl and think that was a game where, like, offensively, South Carolina State was just the best offense Jackson State played against. I don't agree. The Texas Southern offense had Jackson State's defense, and this is when Jackson State was really motivated. They playing for Coach Prime. This is not the Celebration Bowl where there was lack of motivation. That was the one game offensively where I was like, man, this offense is legit. Like, it was like 21-21 at the time, and then Jackson State forced them turnovers, got back in the game. That game was way closer than what it was. Well, I think it was like 41-21.
Yeah, I think it was 42-21. Yeah. The thing about that game is that Texas Southern started off fast. They couldn't stop Jackson State couldn't stop the run. Like, you couldn't stop that option because I'm looking at it. Even though Andrew Body didn't have a good of a game, Ladarius Owens had almost 200 yards in that game rushing. He had almost 200 yards in that game rushing, and that was a game where JSU had to grit their teeth and bite down and try to clogging the holes and fill in the lanes and stuff like that, because now, even though they busting your ass for 10, 12 yards a game, for first downs and stuff like that, you gotta hold them out and try to make them, have to make them throw the ball. And I think that's what they did. They readjusted their the defense and basically made it to where they have to throw the ball. And Texas Southern didn't even have to throw the ball because you're tied up. You was tied up in that game. So if it was me, I would have kept running the ball. I would have kept running the ball the whole time, the whole game.
When they stopped running with Owens like they were doing, because Jackson State made some stops, but Owens was still kind of getting yards. If they look at the film, Texas Southern should have you win and die with Owens. That's what I've been like, because they ran like a what would you call a spread option? Like
it's a spread option.
RPOs, and it's a different type of offense, especially in the run game. And I cannot wait to see what that offense looks like this year. Andrew Body, man, he's the truth, man.
You know what it remind me of? It remind me of the 05 offense with UT with Vince Young. Like when he was, he should have won the Heisman that year.
Oh yeah, he did. You talking about style of offense?
The style of offense.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have big numbers passing the ball, but he had big numbers running the ball though. So, if I could see Andrew Body get like at least 2,800 yards passing and another 1,000 yards running, oh yeah, he's the official offensive player of the year for the SWAC.
So you're not gonna give that to Shedeur?
Shedeur has to throw for at least 4,500 yards to even get that. 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns. And we don't. And another thing is, we don't know how this air raid system is going to look. We've seen it in the spring game, but with going against other schools, now we got to see how this, the air raid is going to look.
I'm gonna tell you what the air raid is, man. I know it's from what people telling me. And it's gonna be bombs over Baghdad. It's about bombs over Baghdad. It's gonna be. I'll tell you, these damn receivers. Shadur is licking his chops, seeing like the toys he has.
Oh my God.
I'll say this: 4,000 and up. I do not see Shadur having below 4,000 yards at all.
Only way I see him having under 4,000 yards is if the running game is efficient. That's the only way I see them having him having under 4,000 yards. If somebody, one of the running backs, gained at least like 800-900 yards or something like that for the season, that's the only way I see him having under 4,000. But he has to have like at least 4,200 yards and maybe 40 touchdowns to become an offensive player of the year.
Hey, that's a good point because Tyson Alexander, he's back, and with an upgraded offensive line. I mean, Tyson Alexander played on an offensive line that was worse than the Falls offensive line at the spring.
Yes, it was.
One good behind that offensive line, and the offensive line in 2022 is, in all accounts, is better than last year. Yeah, what you're saying could be spot on.
Yeah. And other things about it too. And then look, man, the toys that he like for real. Let's get back to what you said. The toys that he got. Trevante Rucker coming back. He's coming back. He's gonna be better this season. Shane Hooks has gained tremendous amount of experience now since from last season to this season coming up. So you got Shane Hooks, you got Trevante Rucker, Malachi Wideman. The leader, he led the league in touchdown receptions. Didn't even played the whole season. He played 6 games?
And dominated.
He played 6 games and dominated. And what else? Who else we got? You got
wait a minute. We should have said this name first. Kevin Coleman.
Kevin Coleman, yes.
Man,
yes.
Kevin Coleman is the truth, man.
I've been raved. I've seen everybody rave about him that he's got his head straight since he got to school in the spring. That he's getting his weight up. That he's in the classroom. Mm-hmm. He's learning tricks to the trade for him being a slot receiver. I'm looking at him getting at least for him being a freshman in the slot. I'm thinking of him getting about 600 yards in the slot. We ain't even talked about Travis Hunter. We haven't even said anything about Travis Hunter.
Quay Davis.
Quay Davis. I seen Quay Davis play when he was in high school at Skyline. He was that dude. The way you see him being like a Deebo Samuel, he was that dude at Skyline. And running people over, he has that he has a dog mentality, like a bulldog mentality. Like it's me or you. Then you got Christian Allen, you got
Dallas Daniels.
He's a route technician.
Man,
Still.
They're more than 10 deep.
Yeah, they're more than 10 deep. I don't think he'll be able to play. I probably see about at least 6 or 7 of those receivers playing. And I'm looking at Mark Pope, Cam Buckley. I watched him when he was at Cedar Hill. He's a dog. Kobe Paul. That receiving room is deep. And he about to. And the crazy thing is, Coach Prime about to add on to some more in the next recruiting class.
Man, they got a freshman right now who he may not even play as much because they're so loaded. And that was a low 4-star. He had an 80 overall grade on ESPN. Juanes begins with a J, Joanes, Fortalin from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, 6'4", 210, 215, explosive wide receiver.
Man. And you got and then we ain't even said nothing about the defense. Of course, everybody knows one side gonna be Travis Hunter playing cornerback, the other side is Nugget. Who you gonna test? who you testing first? You testing Nugget or you testing Travis? Because you testing Travis, Nugget gonna have a field day. You testing Nugget, Travis gonna have a field day. Then the back end, as far as the safeties, upgraded because you got Joker, Gregory Great, Cam Sim and Craig. You got him. To me, he's like the switchblade to me as far as on defensive backfield because he can, to me, he can cover. He could play in the box. He don't like he like to get down and dirty. He don't mind tussling with the offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? He has good ball skills, ball cover skills. Hey man, Cameron Silver Craig he's one of my dogs too. Shallow, he out there, but he won't. I don't think Shallow's not coming back until probably like the second or third game of the season because he still got a knee injury. So he's
still recovering. I'm not I'm not a depth chart expert, but I'm gonna make this clear. Greg Great, and Ron Huggins are the star. It's common sense. Unless something weird happens, Greg Great at the Conference USA. I remember watching them against Western Kentucky. They ran an air raid offense.
Yeah,
this brother has unique talent, coverage ability wise for the safety. He had 7 picks. He was in the Reese's Senior Bowl watch list, so scouts are looking at him.
Yep.
This is a pro prospect. Some people are saying the best prospect on defense. Now, I also believe Nugget as well as Aubrey Miller.
Aubrey Miller is that's a grown man.
Yeah, they're gonna make a name for themselves, especially Nugget. I don't give a damn about these stats. These corners they talking about in the FCS, undersized, pint-sized cornerbacks playing zone. Nugget plays straight up man-to-man defense on a blitzing type of style from the defensive coordinator, Dennis Thurman. So it's not easy. He has to be on the island.
Yep.
So I'd rather have a corner like DeJohn Nugget Warner than these so-called, they're looking at these FCS corners. They got 8 picks. But they play cover 2, cover 3 all day.
Right. They can protect it.
Yeah, they're protected. Yeah, give me a corner like Nugget if I was an NFL team. That's who I would get from the FCS. Someone that can hold him man-to-man shutdown defense.
And then we still got Herman Smith out there. You still got Zay Bolden. We got Deontay Davis on the defensive line. You got now Gaddy. I heard that he put on some weight on the defensive line.
I heard he's 6'6" right now.
Oh my God!
Yeah, y'all just wait. Y'all just wait and see, man. This is why people have been telling me that this year's Jackson State team is so much better. And we didn't even talk about Antonio Doyle from Texas. He's a beast.
Yeah. Who else did that, man? Big Country. I think he put on weight, so they plugged him on the inside as a D tackle. You got Baron Hobson. You got that defense is loaded. And this is coming from Ken Clark and Zoe Phillips from Tiger Talk. That defense is straight loaded. And the best thing about it is them being loaded. This is the good thing for Coach Thurman as defensive coordinator. He has depth, especially on the defensive line, linebackers, and in the secondary. He has depth on all 3 parts of the defense.
And this is what you're going to be getting with the addition of Greg Great. Last year, teams would avoid the sides because the corners were shut down corners, of course, with Nugget and company. So what would they do? Attack the middle, use tight ends. With Greg Great, he could cover the tight end. He could cover that middle. Jackson State has not had that last year. Let's be honest. They got that now with Greg Great.
Right. They try to do it. They try to do it with Cam, but
he's more in the box.
He's like I said, yes, he's more of an in the box type safety. So I know he got put. I think he said he put on like a couple pounds of weight. So from being 175, I think he's like at 185, 190. Just think about that. Him being in the box, being 190, and still be able to run and cover and stuff like that. That's a dangerous combination, man. That is a dangerous combination. We ain't even talked about Southern. Um, Southern defensive line is just upgraded. Everybody knows Jason Dumas. In fact, let's just say it like this: Southern's team upgraded when they got Coach Dooley.
Yeah, offensively, he's gonna take care of itself. That's right. What he does best. But this front seven, Trey Lane, I just had
Dumas,
the kid from Fairview A&M, Great House, and
Jordan
Lewis. Yeah. It's gonna be trouble.
And like I said, that I'm gonna tell you just like this: when they play, when Southern play Jackson State, the Boom Box Classic is not gonna be a blowout or nothing like that. It's gonna be a close game again.
It's gonna be a physical game, man.
It's gonna be a physical game. So I want people to understand this. Don't expect a blowout when we play the Boom Box Classic. Don't expect it. Expect for it to be a close game. Tough as nails type game. So that the only thing about it is who's going to be the quarterback. If I probably haven't seen what Bubba McDaniel has done. And who else they have as far as the
we have Brashawn. I think it may be Brashawn McCray because what he did in the spring. Brashawn McCray.
Oh, that's he for family.
Oh no. Not Brashawn. No, not McKay. McCray.
Okay.
Brashawn.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
he's like 5'11".
If he did good in the spring, then that should be an upgrade. That should be a major upgrade for them at the quarterback spot.
Someone asked me a while ago, like who's going to be the starters this year, like the starting quarterback, and I kept it consistent. Brashawn McCray, Bichon. I said his name.
Bichon. Okay.
McCray. I don't think Noah Bolden, the transfer from Grambling, I don't think he's going to be the starter, but he's going to be their future. He's a sophomore, an upcoming sophomore, that is.
Okay.
So he has time to learn off the bench, but I think they go with Bichon McCray.
Right. Okay. Let's see. We got Grambling. Grambling out with Hugh Jackson. Everybody, Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson is the OC type guy. He's the quarterback whisperer to everybody that's from the NFL. Question is, who gonna be the quarterback? Because I looked at some of that stuff from the spring from the scrimmage. The quarterback play looked terrible.
That quarterback position will get fixed. Remember, this playbook is. I mean, Hugh Jackson came from the NFL.
Yeah,
you have to have time with this. They have characteristics like Kenjaya Holloway. He has tools. So it wasn't the tools; it's just grasping the playbook, getting chemistry down. But I'm hearing a bunch of rumors. I'm hearing that Quaterius Hawkins, the JUCO transfer, I heard he's really playing well. Chance Amy has the talent. He has his moments. The talent's there. The running ability's there. It's just him putting it together and being consistent in practice. Again, this is what some Grambling fans have told me via DMs and inboxes. They have told me that Julian Calvez, as being a true freshman, he's a baller. From California, he's a baller.
California product.
He's just young, but he is a baller. He's been balling in practices. Amani Gilmore and Holloway, they have the look, but the practices have not been good. Again, that's what I've been told. Oh,
Okay.
look out for the running back tandem.
Oh yeah.
Maurice Washington,
From
Chance
Nebraska.
Williams, and
Mm-hmm.
Floyd Chalk. That's the big three in the running back position. They're really good.
That now I say this. Now I will say this: Grambling do have the best running back stable in the SWAC, hands down. And not to mention you named those three. Not to mention they still have a holdover from last season from Fob's era, Keelan Elder. You know he's still there.
Yeah,
So you got at least four stable running backs that you go to, and the receivers. Okay, man, that Tyson Bordeaux, is a baller.
and
He
he's
he
just
a baller.
17, man. He's only 17 too.
And we'll get on the Bordeaux boys too, man, because hey, I did not know it was. I did not know it was more though. It was more, more that's thinking about coming to Grambling.
Oh yeah,
I did not know more coming to Grambling. Um, defensive wise, Grambling always has a good defense. The defensive unit is always good, especially now since you got Cedric Thornton that came in from Alcorn. That's at Grambling now. He's gonna make sure that he'll be able to do some things that he wasn't able to do at Alcorn. And the man that's going to lead the way is Sundiata Anderson. Um, quick off the edge. I'm
man. Their defense is in all accounts, their defense is tenfold better than last season. I'm not just saying it just to be saying it.
mm-hmm.
These are what Grambling fans are telling me. Their defense is clicking in all cylinders. That defensive coordinator is the real deal, man. And
Yeah.
they won't lose games because of defense. And you add this offense, don't sleep on Grambling State. Now, here's another receiver. We talked about Tyson Bordeaux. Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Pickens, the Blazer.
Oh yes.
And
I follow him on Twitter.
Faison Wilson is just a freak of an athlete. Matter of fact, in his latest scrimmage, they said he had a one-handed catch that looked like an ESPN top 10 worthy play
Hmm.
in a squad scrimmage. He's that dude. And he's from Lancaster, too. You know what that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They always produce athletes out there, man. Uh, Hey, put everybody that's in the chat, man. Y'all go ahead and keep commenting what y'all like to see. Comment some questions for us and stuff like that. We keep this thing going. I ain't got too much time going on right now.
Right.
But let's go back to the Eastern Division with Alabama and we already talked about it with basically with the Gulf Coast Classic and them taking away a home game for us. Now, team wise, I heard Connell Maynard scrap the whole defense. I heard he blew the whole defense up and started from scratch. Uh, the two main players that we all need to know about as far as offensive wise is Gary Quarles, the running back, all conference. They had over 1,000 yards last season. And Abdul Fattah Ibrahim, the receiver on the outside, uh, he's capable for getting 1,000, maybe 1,200 yards on the outside. You also got Juice Jenkins, and whoever is the quarterback going to be from, from what I'm looking at, it probably will be Quincy Casey, who is a Jackson State transfer. Everybody know how who he is and what he did during the game in the spring against Alabama A&M, basically throwing for 350, 4 tuds, but it wasn't enough to get the team in the winning circle because A&M started off real fast and we didn't have the defense to keep up with that. But like I said, I heard Connell Maiden just from other people that he scrapped the whole defense and started a new. Basically, he got a new defense coordinator from what I'm hearing too. Uh, so I'm just looking at it to where now are they going to be able to stop people now at crucial times? Uh, because you could be an all around good, great defense, but it takes for you to have that one that one moment, that one play to where you stop, make a stop, fourth down, third down, whatever, get an interception, fumble, sack, whatever, however you want to play it. Will I be able to make a stop at crucial times?
Yeah, and if you look at this new renowned roster from Alabama and A&M,
Mm-hmm.
22 transfers.
Yep.
That's a lot of damn D1 transfers. And talent-wise, on paper, they better win more than 7 games.
They have no choice but to win more than 7 games because I feel like if they don't, Cornell gonna be on the chop block.
And Cornell, he's a talented offensive play caller.
Yeah,
I mean, very talented. But they got to win more than 7 games, man. This roster is just really good, man. And these ain't just transfers that would, that are going to sit the bench.
mm-hmm.
These are transfers that will contribute, that are contributing because some of them came through spring
Right
away. If they don't win more than 7 games, that would be a big time failure. How the roster is constructed, by the way.
By the way the roster is constructed. Let's see who else we have in the East. We already did Valley. We did Alabama State. We did Bethune-Cookman. We did FAMU, Jackson State, and that's pretty much it on the Eastern Division. The West is we still have Prairie View and UAPB. So UAPB, man, last. Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you just like this. I don't think they still have. I don't think they still have the mindset from what happened to them last season, losing games that close, especially that game when they played Alcorn. That was a Thursday night game on ESPN, ESPNU. You cannot give up. You cannot try to have a lead like that and just give it up just like that.
That crushed their spirit. When they lost that game like that, that ruined the whole season.
They ruined the whole season. And now if I'm Doc Gamble, what am I going to do, and how can I bring a higher morale to the team now for this season than what we had for last season? Because last season was a wash. Everybody knows. Everybody thought because they won the SWAC. They won the SWAC West last season, and they represented the SWAC West in the SWAC championship game. Not last season, but in the spring. Everybody thought that they was going to be able to, continue that momentum. And now, after that, when they played Alcorn, that game it killed it. It killed the momentum. And then when they played, because there was some closer games that they played where they thought they were going to be in the driver's seat, and they couldn't get it. They couldn't pull it. They couldn't pull it through in the second half, and that's what killed them last season. Is the second half play. They still have Skylar Perry as the quarterback, so he's back for his final year. Mark Evans on the offensive line. He is the only. I think he was the only golden line that was even mentioned in all SWAC, in all conference. So they have a lot of rebuilding to do, and if they can't do it this season, then I'm looking at Doc Gamble being gone at the end of December, by the beginning of December. Put it just like that. By the beginning of December, I'm looking at Doc Gamble being gone, being fired, and then whoever they get to take care to come in to be the head coach of the team, you have to think outside of the box.
Yeah, and I know that they're standing on that hill to only get high school recruits. But here's the thing, that's good if you get talented players. See, FAMU, they get a lot of talented high school recruits,
Right.
so they have the luxury to only get a few transfer portal players. But if you're a team like Alabama A&M, who needs to retool a defense, I know a lot of us judge that, but that defense is horrible.
It was.
They had to win the game. I'm not saying always go to the transfer portal, but when you ain't winning enough, you better go in that transfer portal and get as much talent as you can. And I bet you if UAPB has a losing season, and if UAPB hires a new coach, this upcoming coach, he's like, wait a minute, I'm gonna follow the blueprint. Yeah, I'm gonna get high school talent because you got to build youth. That's important.
That's the main thing.
If I was a head coach, especially in the SWAC and the FCS, knowing that I only have a total of 65 overall chips because of the scholarship limit.
Mm-hmm.
So, range. What I would do is half and half.
Yep.
No matter what my recruiting board is, half high school, half transfer board.
It has to be like that.
Because if you don't have 85 scholarships like FBS, it's really tough to manage all that.
Right. Yeah. So my whole thing is like, and we could harp back on. We talk about Prairie View. Then we could harp back on what people was talking about with Coach Prime when he did what he did with the transfer, using the transfer portal. So we got Prairie View. Prairie View was the SWAC West Division champs. Lost in the SWAC championship game against Jackson State, 27-10. They lose Dooley. Dooley did get fired, but he just up and left and went to Southern. Took him a while for them to name a head coach. There was speculations about Kevin Sumlin being the head coach at one point in time at Prairie View. That they had Ed Reed wanted to come try to see if they be a coach. Ray Lewis. This is all speculation, but everybody knew it was going to be Bubba McDowell because he's been there for the longest. Everybody, when people don't know who Bubba McDowell is, he was an ex-NFL player, played with the Oilers back in the Warren Moon days. Old Astrodome, played defensive back. He was I think he was all league in a couple of seasons. Been the defensive coordinator for Prairie View for probably like about 5-6 years or something like that. If I'm mistaken, if you know the actual number, just put it in the chat below. Now he is at the head. He is at the helm of Prairie View. When he got the position, a lot of his players decided to go somewhere else. Main person was Jason Dumas. So you do not have that person in the middle of your defense that is going to be able to plug in that hole. And he more play that two technique. Man, you don't have that. Then you don't know who your quarterback going to be. That's the main thing.
It's a tough topic because my father went to PV in the mid '80s.
Okay,
it's love there. I got a couple family members that went to Texas Southern. They have a good law program there at Texas Southern, by the way.
Yeah,
really good. If you want to be a lawyer or even a judge, go to Texas Southern.
Thurgood Marshall lost in him, man. Hey,
Real deal. And you know what's funny, Doc, man? You know, you get these trolls talking about, oh, yeah, you just talking about HBCUs because they're popular now. I say, yeah, because at the time, HBCUs weren't like
right.
everyone else. But the difference is my channel, I don't know if you paid too close attention. My thing was basketball.
Okay, yeah.
And then, you know, I will follow the Ball Brothers career and talk. I had 3,000 plus subs before I even talked about HBCUs. It just gives you another niche. It gave me another niche to talk about. I always wanted to talk about HBCUs.
Right.
I wanted HBCUs to be at a level that what it is now. It's important for these athletes to be showcased. You know, it's important to level the playing field. Nobody wants a bad product on that field.
Nah.
Let's set that record straight right there. And Coach Prime said the same thing when he was on Uncle Luke's show.
Mm-hmm.
We got to put a great product on that field so we can attract recruits, new students. Because if it's not looking nice, what you gonna do? Not pay attention to it.
Right.
I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan all my life. If the Dallas Cowboys had a 2-14 season, or they added a game 2-15 season, do you think I'm gonna be talking about Cowboys all day?
Nah. I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk about how bad we played.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about somebody need to tell Jerry Jones to get the hell up out of there.
Oh yeah, that's another. Hey, whenever we can, we gotta talk. We gotta have
we can do that. We can do that. I'm gonna do this every Tuesday, man. This is a good thing right here. We can do this like an every Tuesday thing at 12 o'clock.
You know hoop jargon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he from Houston. He's a Cowboy fan too. But we always talk about when we talk about the Cowboys, we're not gonna sugarcoat. You see these content creators and shout out to them.
Yeah.
But is it me or are they sugarcoating too much? They got a favorite player, or they say, you know, we're just good, we're okay, we don't need to do. I'm like, come on, man, stop.
Come on now. Yeah, stop it. We know we played bad. Especially this past game. For the first preseason game, yeah. 17 penalties. Yeah, we played terrible.
Man, dog, I was on Twitter one time and I said, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, and I mentioned that, you know what, the last Super Bowl champs each year have running back by committee. And since Tony Pollard is playing well, there's nothing against Zeke. Shouldn't the Cowboys be creative and running back by committee based on the defenses they played against? Somebody replied is, oh, you just want Zeke to fail. Man, it's not even just about Zeke. I want the Cowboys to win.
Right.
Y'all rooting for players. I'm rooting for the Cowboys. I'm a Cowboy fan.
Hey, that's our Cowboy rant for today. So next Tuesday we're gonna do some more Cowboy ranting after this second preseason game. All right. So let's get back to people was talking about how Coach Prime he cut majority of the team in the spring and then for the fall to get the team that he has now. And that kind of circled back around when I did a show about Chelsea Lucas with Grambling with the volleyball, her cutting the whole team and stuff like that. Now, if you have full autonomy by your athletic director, you are more than likely to do what you can do in order to put, like you said, a good product on the field. But if you don't have that pull with the athletic director, then you're just stuck with what you have. And some of the schools that I see in the SWAC is stuck with what they have because we don't know how their athletic directors are. I'm looking at it like with Valley, like Coach Dancy. Coach Dancy is like one of the best coaches in this conference that we have. But he gets slept on because it's Valley and Valley doesn't do it. You know, they've been losing. They've been losing for like about 8-9 years. But Coach Dancy has been he's been one of the up and coming coaches in this conference. And I feel like he hasn't been able to use that transfer portal to get the players that he want to get in. He used it, but he used it at critical times. Because with him, he's more on. I want to, it's home, like not homegrown, but I want to get the high school athletes in and build them up, and and cultivate them, and get some people from the transfer portal to where I know they came from winning programs, or they have a winning mentality, or they know what to do with hard work. Get them in, ingratiate with them in the program, and then you can see like what you've seen on the field, especially with Valley. Okay, so with Valley, some of those games that they played should have been wins, especially game against Jackson State. That was a 24-19 affair. They played them hard. Valley plays Jackson State. It's their Super Bowl. When they played Florida A&M, and how Florida A&M, FAMU had had a 17-point lead and pretty much almost pissed it away. So in order for you to have games to have the games that you had like that and kind of flip it and reverse it, and if come out for a win, you have to go into the transfer portal. You have to go get those dogs that's in the portal that fits your system, that fits your scheme, that fits the the criteria that you have. And so when it came down with Coach Prime, I'm like, okay, um, it's not about him embarrassing a kid or anything like that. He don't want to embarrass you. It's the fact that he knows what he has to do. He has to put some type of winning product on the field. And if I have to go through the portal to get those necessary players to come here to play to put a winning product on the field, then I'm just going to keep doing it until they say, "Well, nope, you can't do it no more."
And Doc, let's make one thing clear. You know how people say Coach Prime cut players. What Coach Prime did was, did you know that he helped the players that he quote unquote cut transfer to other schools?
Yeah.
I'm tired of the bullshit about he's cutting people, like he's cutting players. And no, what he did was he was upfront with them. You're not going to make this team, but what I can do, I could show other teams your film, and we can transfer you out. How many former Jackson State players you've seen? They thank Coach Prime when they left. I've seen a bunch of them.
Yeah, shoot, Dalen Baldwin was one of them. He announced, he said that on the documentary. He didn't have the necessary, he's like, well, I'm gonna go into the league. Okay, well, I ain't gonna have no scholarship for you. So what have you done? Because you came from Morgan State, then you transferred to Jackson State. Now you say you think you're ready for the league. He told him, I don't think you're ready for the league just yet. So what he do? He went back home. He went to Michigan. Did he put up the numbers that he wanted to put up in Michigan that he did when he was at Jackson State? No. But is he on the NFL team right now? Yes, he is.
And I still believe if Dalen Baldwin was at Jackson State his final year instead of Michigan, I think he would have been drafted. I think he would have put so many numbers. He would have been opposite of Weidman.
Yep.
And he would have wrecked shop. I still believe it, no matter who tells me otherwise. Dalen Baldwin would have been drafted because he barely played in Michigan. He had the tools. He's 6'3", he's 200 plus pounds, he's fast, he's athletic. That was never a question, but he just never had reps. If you're gonna go to FBS and transfer, go to a team you're gonna play, so you could get drafted if you want to be drafted. If that's your dreams and aspirations. But back to Coach Prime, man, I have no problem with him evaluating his roster again until the FCS wises up and increase the scholarship limit to 85. I guarantee you, if if they increase the scholarship limit to 85, Coach Prime will recruit more high school players. He wouldn't have to worry about, because here's the strategy. The reason why he gets those senior transfer portal players, the final year doesn't really count on their in the books for scholarships. So
and then it don't hurt them in the APR also.
No, at all. So it was all strategic.
So basically, that means that you got to go to class.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you graduate, you're going to graduate. You still got to go to class, because now this, you don't go to class, you don't graduate. This hurts us in the APR. That's the reason why they had a high APR this year.
Think about it. You get a 5th year, 6th year senior, they're done with school.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna hurt their APR. It's not gonna be in their books for scholarships.
Right.
So you can reward the younger players with scholarships and have flexibility. That's why he does what he does. If he had Coach Prime and other coaches had 85 scholarship limit, things would change. The FCS, if they want to grow, they need to start thinking ahead. Look at the FBS. They're making so much money right now. Teams leaving the FCS because why would you stay in the FCS? The FCS playoffs doesn't even generate money. And there's
and I heard with the FCS playoffs, the NCAA is on hook with 70% of the ticket sales. That's what I heard. I heard from an actual person that follows FCS football. He said when schools go into the FCS playoffs, and if it's a home game, the NCAA gets 70% of that. Now that is some gangster shit right there.
That is, bro.
This is my favorite person. Hey, Miss Body, how you doing?
Shout out to Miss Angie Body, Andrew Body's mother. Shout out to his family. Raised a respectful, good young man. Shout out to Zoe Phillips with the Tiger Talk.
What up, Zoe?
Man, subscribe to their channels, man. I listened to last night's stream. It's like, it reminds me when you're talking to your uncles and cousins about sports. You either have a cigar, you have a brew, or you may have some smoke. Keep it PC, but you know what I mean. But that's what it is.
Yeah, man, that channel is real good. I did an interview with Ken Clark last month. It was a good interview, great interview that we had, man. It's basically like I call that interview chopping it up with the brothers.
Exactly, Ken Clark, man. In this space, I can honestly say just one of the good brothers out here, man. There's no agendas. There's not. It just he is what he is.
Right.
He's a man of faith, a man of just on code. He's all about helping brothers and sisters. This is what we got to do in this space, man. We got the problem with content creating. We got this king's mentality. We want to be the head YouTuber.
Right.
We don't want to chop game. But you can ask anyone. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. You guys, anyone that I've come across to that ask me about how to start a YouTube channel, how to build it up, I'm willing to help. If I have time and if I'm cool with you, I'm helping you out. Because when you operate on conscious, you live better. Every decision I make, I think to myself, I hope I don't do anything wrong so I later regret it.
Yeah, when me doing this, like I said, when I started doing this, it was at one point in time, it was something for me I wanted to do. And I've always wanted to do this because I used to do, and follow me on Facebook, I used to do a lot of things. Like I used to get on Facebook Live while I'm driving, when I'm driving to work from my house. And this I was staying in Corsicana. I was driving to Ennis to go to work. And I used to have these chats for like 24, 25 minutes all the way up until I get to work. And just talk about certain things that I've seen in the news, sports wise, like relationship wise, money wise, and stuff like that. And I kind of stopped doing it because I was going through my little personal thing as far as I had went through divorce and everything. But when I came back out of it, I'm like, okay, got my own place, computer, this, that. Pandemic come. All right, man. Look, what am I gonna do to buy my time? You know, while I'm here at the house. So I just went on Amazon and ordered a camera, one camera. I really use that to film everything on the outside. And then I bought my microphone and bought my ring light. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. Because I was going to do everything on my phone. I still kind of do everything on my phone. And then next thing you know, um, like I said, life happens. And now it's like, now I told my wife now, I was like, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna start a podcast. So while she was at work, I went on my channel, my YouTube page, my YouTube channel, and I just scrapped everything. And I just like, look, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this 100, 110%, and scrapped everything off of it and started anew. And started my first show on my phone. Pretty much majority of everything I had done, like the first 30 some, like 25, 30 shows that I done on my phone. And then using the stream, using this streaming service right here, it helps me immensely because now I don't have to worry about, you know, all the data on my phone taking over and trying to clean my phone out and stuff like that. But it's just like it has been trying times and stuff like that. But like if I don't have that type of support from my wife and from other people, and especially from other content creators, then I'm just gonna be out. I'm be here lost. Like you know, you hit me up and telling me, hey, do this. You need, if you can do this, it'll get this going. If you do this, it'll get this going. I'm looking at it like, okay, I'm about to do a show, but class is in session for me.
Man,
So I'm not about to turn nothing. I'm not about to turn free game down for anything.
like the saying goes, each one teach one.
Right.
We gotta be what we talk about. When we talk about let's work together, let's improve the communities, let's help each other out, our community. We gotta be about it. Man, sometimes some people get so successful, man, they like, man, I don't want to tell them or her any of my secrets because that's competition. You know what's funny about YouTube? If we all have the same subscribers, they're eventually, even if they don't watch your live, they're gonna eventually watch your video.
Right.
I don't know what the heck competition. There is no competition in YouTube. That's just some stuff to, if I do a video, right. If I'm doing a video and someone's doing a live, and let's say I have 50 less people on that stream, I'm not worried about it when I'm done with the stream. And when they stumble across, they'll see it.
Right. Well, if everybody knows, like I said, like the stream, like all the content that I have on my show, on my channel, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to my boy DJ Raw Truth Media.
Yeah,
all right.
Leader to Society. I want them to read this. Leader to Society. I know it look like the Menace to Society, but this is from El Capitan. They got the black-owned business. You can follow on Instagram. Brothers out there, I wanted to support their brand, support black business. So be a leader to society. And I think this is dope, man. They got some dope gear out there. Don't try reading the back. El Capitan.
Already.
So,
Zoe says every restaurant you serve burgers, it ain't competition because you serving the same thing. And that is true, man. That's definitely true.
In this HBC space, let's be very honest, man. No one needs to be acting like the king of YouTube right now because do anybody in the HBCU space have 100K subs?
Other than Cut now.
Cut has 20 plus.
Nobody.
Yeah, and shout out to Cut, man. I like what he's doing, man. Great right there. So, I mean, it's funny to me, man, but we all in this together. Let's get, number one, let's get HBCU OverDrive, Doc Holiday. Let's get him to 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch outs so he can get monetized, man. Let's support this brother, man. He's a good brother. He's reaching out to all YouTubers. He's asking the right questions. He's not being one of these channels that's, I don't want to offend nobody. No, if he feels what he feels in his mind and spirit, he's going to say it. We got to have more channels like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to give my shout-outs, man. Like I said, I always shout out to, first and foremost, shout out to God, because without him, we wouldn't be doing this thing today. Also, shout out to my wife, because she is the executive producer. I know she is watching this at her job right now. She's going to critique me. I know that, but I know she's going to say I did a good job I did a great job with today's live show. This is the first live show I've done that's more than 45 minutes. Also, give a shout out to all the content creators, the HBCU content creators. Even I'm going to include Blue because he covers HBCU more with the SCS that he do and everything. Off script, what I'm saying, shout out to him. Corner Sports Net. Y'all can say whatever you want to about how he do his videos. He is on point with his videos, and he gives a good narrative to everything that he, everything that he puts out. All right. Yeah. Like I said, Raw Truth Media, man, shout him out. Go subscribe to him and subscribe to me. Subscribe to both of us. Put it just like that. Like I said, Cut Day,
SWAC
Buzz, Talk, SWAC Buzz. Shout out to Mr. Ford. I talk. When I'm on SWAC Buzz channel, I get on this. I get on the phone. I talk to Mr. Ford. Man, y'all don't understand. Mr. Ford is a historian of HBCUs. I mean, not just football.
The list goes on. The CFL podcast. Shout out to Kobe. Good brother right there, man. I mean, he's another one in this space where how can you say anything bad about Kobe, man? He's just a good brother, man.
Shout out Kobe. Shout out Kofi Hemingway. With the ONG Strike Zone. Shout out to the pregame show. I'm gonna shout out to Miss Angie Body because without her, I wouldn't even have my first interview with Jack Nance on my show.
And we can't forget Tomorrow Leader Sports Network, Coach Walker.
Coach Walker, man. Shout out to him. He's a good brother, man. He's a good dude. Very good dude. So, man, this was a good talk, man. So if you down with it, hey, we can do this every Tuesday at 12 o'clock. I'm always off of work on Tuesday, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, if I got the time, man, I'll do it, man. We'll chop it up. Also, brother Cut Day, if you ever stumble on this video, man, promote it. You know what you do, man.
Yeah, promote the video, Cut. Everybody, HBCU content creators, promote this video, promote my channel, promote Raw Truth's channel, we will promote yours. We'll do everything because we want to see everybody eat and we want to see everybody be great in this content space. But as always, my name is Doc Holiday. This is HBCU Overdrive. And as usual, we out. Peace.
No doubt.